This is Lady Myya. I am here with Yolanda Oliver, my homegirl. She is working it over there, y'all. I'm telling you, she is the CEO of Fearless Purpose Gems, the founder and president of Live Fearless Inc. You guys, she is phenomenal. Homegirl got too much going on, and she made me exhausted explaining. So we're just going to go through what she got going on just to give her some support. All right, you guys? We're going to ask you to like, share, and subscribe as well to everything she has going on, as well as I. And if we would like to get back with her on some questions, you guys can also hear me out and send everything to my email. We love you. Certainly. So we're going to get started with the questions. And the questions are, hello, beloved.
Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
The Mayan tribe.
Having a good time with you, Lady Myya.
Yes. The Mayan tribe is definitely wondering, who is this beautiful, beloved woman? Certainly.
Thank you.
Well, her being the founder of Fearless Purpose Gems, we're just going to ask a few questions. The questions are, what is Live Fearless Inc.?
So Live Fearless Inc. is a nonprofit organization, and we're located or based out of New York City. And our mission, we support families, women and families who are impacted by domestic violence. We have 3 pillars to our mission. And the first is really to educate the masses about domestic violence from the victim's experience. Number 2 is we provide grants and resources and referrals for victims for care packages is what one of our grant programs are. But if some of my clients, if they need help, they're looking for additional resources, we partner or get them referrals to other agencies that can support them for whatever their need may be, whether it be sheltering, whether it's educational grants. We research that with them, and we kind of do all the legwork or get them where they need to go to get the resources that they need. And then third is we believe in celebrating the lives of survivors. So we host milestone events. So just to celebrate the lives of survivors, whether it be a Pamper Me Day, a Princess Tea Party for girls, whether it be a sports day for boys, family days for the entire family, because we want, me being a survivor of domestic violence, you need those moments where you're celebrated to give you that energy or that fire to continue to go, because it is an ongoing process. It's always something you're going to be moving your way through from just surviving, and our goal is to support them through their journey to thriving.
Yes. Oh no, that was a mouthful, girlfriend. I'm telling you. But you know what? We need people like you. We need more people like you. I know it's just based in New York for the time being, but I do believe that this movement could definitely go further. And we appreciate you just being able to want to step out on faith, okay, and do what is needed.
Yes. That's what it is. It's definitely a faith walk for sure. But I believe God orders the steps, because there is a need for support and there's a need for a human touch. People need to feel, especially for when you're going through domestic violence, you're constantly in fear, dealing with insecurity, and you need to know that somebody is there who's going to hold your hand through the process or to get you where you need to be. I know from experience, it's not always a safe place. You can't find that person or those resources that will make sure you get what you need. Sometimes you just get thrown to the side and not really cared for, and then people give up. And my goal is to help women not give up. That's my goal.
Oh, that's always a goal. That's the goal every day. Okay. Mm-hmm. Certainly. Okay. So tell me what got you started with this particular movement?
So part of my history is that let me just share. Live Fearless Inc. is really a tribute to my mother and my father. So My mom was a victim of domestic violence. My dad abused my mom when we were younger. My mom eventually, after 2 attempts, we finally left. And I'm so appreciative for her leaving my dad at a time where it was unconventional, and really not supported to leave your husband. But she did it because she wanted to save herself and she wanted to save her children. And the reason why I say it's a tribute to my dad is because my dad, they say, can people heal from being an abuser? And I'm a witness to say, yes, my dad did. He did the work. He went through counseling. He went through, he was an alcoholic. He gave up alcohol altogether. And he went through the healing steps so that he can reconcile with his relationship with myself and my brother, and even have a great relationship with my mom as friends. Over time, healing took its place. So just to have the courage to say that I need to do better and be better, I attribute that to him, because there is hope, for an abuser, and there's hope for a victim, but you have to want to do the work. So I just celebrate both of them for the journeys that they took separately, but to make sure that we were safe, but then also to make sure that they became whole and healthy themselves. But unfortunately, at the age of 19, I walked into my first domestic violence relationship. I was physically abused in 2 relationships back to back. And then from that point, I said, I'm never gonna let this happen to me again. Never, ever, ever. But not realizing I hadn't done a healing work. I hadn't dealt with some of the fear and insecurity that was really embedded in me from when I was a child, and what we experienced from seeing my dad abuse my mom. It left it tainted my soul, honestly, in a lot of ways. And I didn't do the work before I started walking into relationships. So I walked into relationships with a very jaded view of what relationships look like, because the only one I really had was my mom and my dad. So to me, abuse was a way of, he loves her. And I knew him hitting me was wrong. But in my mind, growing up, because you want to feel loved and you want to feel protected and you want to feel like somebody loves you, you cave into those things. And I always say men find the women who have those insecurities. I always say abuser seeks out the woman. They seek out the person, because it could be a man being abuser or a woman. So, but for me, anyway, after I just went through a long story, but anyway, so after my first 2 abusive relationships that were physically abusive, I said, I'm never going to let anybody lay hands on me, not knowing that my next relationships I'm walking into that was psychologically abusive. So again, and even I took times out of relationships. Like I had a 5-year stint where I was like, I'm just going to focus on my son. But then my next relationship ended up being a verbally abusive relationship. And then the next one ended up being another psychological abusive relationship. So at some point after that relationship ended about 7 years ago, I said, no, I have to figure this out. Like, what's happening that I keep attracting that same type of person? And then, so I talked to my pastor. She recommended that I go to counseling. So with the balance of my faith and counseling, I was able to really deal with those deep seeds that I never dealt with as a child. So that is the reason behind Live Fearless Inc. Because I went through abuse and nobody knew. I would show up every single day at work. I would show up to my family smiling. Nobody knew because I didn't feel safe. But then I also was fearful of what people would say. So other people's thoughts and, their perspective or their projection on me lived within me. And I was afraid of what people would say. I was afraid of what people would think. And the first thoughts that I thought of was, if this happened to your mom, how could you let this happen to you? Like, how could you let this happen to you? So for me, Live Fearless Inc. not only is it a tribute to the healing of my mother and my father, but it's also because I don't want people to live through those same experiences as me. I want them to know that there's resources for help. They don't have to be abused. They don't have to get strangled every single night. They don't have to be beat up with a belt. Like these things that I went through, you don't have to be told that nobody's going to want you or your dirt or your trash or your whore. Like nobody should have to feel that way because it's not true. So that's the purpose behind Live Fearless Inc. is to be a vehicle of transformation for women and families, to let them know while you're in this journey, let's help you walk through it because you don't deserve this. You deserve better. Nobody deserves abuse. Nobody.
No one ever. Child, mother, daughter,
Right.
husband.
Right.
You know, I've seen a lot of that happening lately, which is kind of wild for me. But certainly, what would you say the vision for the program is? Like that, you just want to make sure that people have not only a place but a safe place, and know how to deal with the fact that they may have these insecurities, and these particular people are looking for, people that have these types of insecurities.
Yeah, so Live Fearless Inc. is a nonprofit organization, and then I just recently launched my own for-profit organization, which is my coaching program, which is called Fearless Purpose Gems. And really, what Fearless Purpose Gems is, I've created a coaching program just based off of the work that I've done with my clients. I built a program to support survivors of trauma, abuse, just insecurity, like help them identify where they are, start creating and visualizing their own brand for themselves. After let's set up some goals so we can walk through what those actionable steps are to get you from where you are today to where you are tomorrow. So the goals by client vary, because some of my clients are still in abusive relationships, but we're working on safety planning and how to get them out. Some are working with just low self-esteem, and like, how do I build my self-esteem, and what are my goals going to be, my self-affirmations. Some have been out of abuse but haven't started to do the work. How do I go from not going into this other type of situation again? And I believe that domestic violence support and counseling, as well as therapy, are very critical tools for any abuse victim, because at some point you have to work with the core of you and figure out what is it about you, or what are those seeds that are within you that's allowing you to be able to believe that this behavior towards you is okay, because it isn't okay. So I created Fearless Purpose Gems just to be a safe place for women to share their story. When I was thinking about when I started to come up with the idea of like maybe even creating a coaching business, because my coaching career goes all the way back to when I was in corporate America. I've been coaching for years in the corporate sector, and so I never really thought about it as being something I could do as as I'm working with my clients. But then I realized, oh yeah, this is actually work that we're doing to move them towards their goals. But when I was working with my clients, I said, this is definitely a framework for women. And I know myself, and I know dealing with plenty of women who are domestic violence victims, that the key reason why they don't share their story is because they don't believe that there's a safe place where they can do it. That's the number one reason. And then number two is they don't know, they can't balance life and life's responsibilities and expectation along with getting help. So if I'm a mom, from a lot of moms' perspectives who are working, I have to work, I have to take care of my kids. When do I find the time to be able to try to even think about healing? So the other part of my program is that I work on unconventional hours, because I want to make sure that I'm convenient to when people need support. That's really important, because I might not need support at 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm at my job, but I need to be able to have those conversations maybe at 10 o'clock at night. So guess what? We can set up an appointment for 10 o'clock at night. But those are the main reasons, because only 12% of women actually seek support after dealing with a traumatic event. And that could be the loss of a child, that could be abuse, it could be being in an accident, it could be from any type of tragedy, it could be just from grieving. The other part of my story is I lost my firstborn son at 27, and I never dealt with the grief that I experienced from losing my baby. So we don't prioritize as women for a lot of reasons. We don't take care of our own healing. And as women, we just keep up and we just keep going, and we keep smiling with the pain behind the smile. And that's the real reason behind Fearless Purpose Gems, because I envision women being able to have an authentic smile and be authentically them, because they've dealt with everything that's inside of them that's hurt them, broken them, made them fearful, made them ashamed, made them feel guilty, so that now they can walk fully into their purpose and just thrive and not just survive.
Look at you. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's like, no. This is
So
what's going
sorry.
down.
I get so excited and emotional about this. You know, this is my passion.
No, and we know that. We see that because like the fact that your body language and everything just says, look, I'm here, I'm helping, I want to do, I'm here for you. If you have a problem, let me know, no matter day or night. The fact that you have that open door policy is going to allow so many other people to have the opportunity to reach you.
Because it is, and a lot of it is access. People need access, and they need access when they need it. And I just want to make sure that that's available because it's not common. So I just want to be the uncommon to really be able to be there to support women. That's my goal.
Yes. Yes. So, I am really trying to contain myself. I really am. Like, you see me kind of go this way, they go that way. I'm like, okay, no, this is a serious topic, calm it down. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so, how did you get trained pretty much for the movement? Was there training involved? Was there, how did that happen?
So I have domestic violence certification training, which is basically a 40-hour training. So you do the training. I did face-to-face training maybe like 2 years ago, and I'm actually going to do another training later on this year because I feel like there's always new tools. Like, you can never learn too much. So there's a 40-hour training that you do, but then also I volunteered at different locations to be able to put my training to use. But then also I'm a master life coach as well. So I've done, I don't know how many courses. I've been doing life coach training since I was in corporate America. So maybe about 10 years. But I've officially been certified over the past 3 years. So I have those two tools as far as like coaching and training and support, because I feel like if you're dealing with abuse victims or trauma related situations, it takes a different type of skill. And you need to make sure that you're trained to be able to support people. And not only that, because I believe that everyone can't be, I don't believe myself to be the source, but I believe in being a resource that's able to get you to where you need to be if it's not me. And the one important thing about supporting people, especially in trauma-related situations, is knowing, is this something that they could work through with a coach, or do they need a professional, meaning like a therapist, a counselor, or a psychologist? So you have to know the difference, and that's really, really important, because I don't want to be in a lane where I'm hurting someone because I'm not giving them the adequate care that they deserve. So I'm actually starting to partner with other women who are trauma trained, to be able to refer clients to them. So then therefore, if I know that this is something that needs help from a psychologist or a counselor, trained counselor, I will refer them over to them, because it's really important to make sure that if we're going to serve people, we need to make sure we know what our lane is, and when if we're not in our lane, to get them to the right place so they can truly be supported. Because at the end of the day, it's not about how many clients I help. To me, it's about how many people can I help get them to the places that they need to get to so that they get healed. That's what's important to me. So
yeah. I'm trying my best. Y'all see me. I'm like, she's gonna blow. Watch. What type of relationship do you have with your present community?
My community? Oh yeah, so that's great. That's a great question. I believe in being involved in the community. I think it's super important, and my mother has really set the standard for me to be involved in the community, because she has done since she retired. She does so much work in the community. So I am actually I'm soon to be youth pastor at my church, Refresh Church and Ministries. But I've been a youth leader for years. I want to say about, how old is my son? Joshua's 17. So maybe about 10 years now. Um, I am a den leader for the Scouts of America for our Troop 369 in Harlem, woo-hoo, Harlem, New York. So basically, some of you guys might not know, but the Scouts of America now allows girls. So my troop, I have the actual Cub Scouts, and our troop is combined with girls and boys, and I deal with the ages of 5 through 10. And I've been doing that for about 2 years now, and it brings me so much joy. I love children, if you haven't identified. I'm also a mentor for iMentor, which is a mentoring program that's in New York City, and we support or mentor high school students. And then I also am working with Reading Partners, which is an organization where you're actually able to go into the classroom and set up one-on-one sessions with children, and you read to them and you do activities with them while you're reading. So that's been put on pause, and they're actually looking at their virtual program going into September, which I'm excited to be able to do that again too. So.
Oh wow, you just knocked out all my questions. Okay, so
and then the In Touch program, I know that was one of your questions. So In Touch program is a community outreach program through Columbia University. So basically, I'm a community health worker. So what I do is we set up health fairs, and we're able to do blood pressure monitoring and diabetes tests, and also just have counseling discussions with women and men or whomever about health and what they're doing about their health, and also giving them referrals where they need it. So if they need help for mental health, or if they need referrals to doctors, if they do not have insurance, we get them registered for insurance right here in New York. So we get them basically everything that they need so that they can start on a good, healthy regimen to work on those areas. So because in Harlem, diabetes and high blood pressure are two of the most pressing illnesses within our community, that is really our focus, is really to educate and then also support people around knowing what are the drivers for diabetes, stroke, and blood pressure, and then also setting up those community events. And I absolutely love it. I love it.
No, I hear you. Okay. So, if there is anything that you would like to tell my Mayan tribe in regards to your business and how they can reach you.
Sure. So if you are seeking support as a domestic violence survivor, you're looking for resources, you can reach us by going to www.livefearlessinc.com, and that is our nonprofit organization. We are on all social platforms as Live Fearless Inc., so it's pretty easy to find us when you go to Google. If you are looking for a coach to get you from fear to fearless, you can reach me at Fearless Purpose Gems at www.fearlesspurposegems.org. You can also find me on all social platforms as Fearless Purpose Gems. Just give me a call, give me a buzz, set up a call, and even if you go on either site, you can just set up a free call and we can talk and discuss where you are, and we'll see what we can do to get you to where you want to be.
Yes. All right. See, I got y'all the hook up, y'all. Okay, y'all see this? You know, what I did was I was like, yo, you need to be on my show. And she was like, yeah. It's like, no. But she's a who. We were having so much fun. Just getting to talk and everything like that. But you know, her passion, she's a driver. She is in the driver's seat. She's gonna try to help you however she sees fit. She's trained for this type of thing. She's actually spiritual as well. So all goes, it all comes together if you allow it to.
Yes.
We don't, we're not always so stuck up or, serious about everything. And we don't have to be, because, in this day and age, I mean, why would you want to? Everything that's on the news upsets everyone. And this is why people are just going a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at the moment. Right. So it's like, if we can just shed some light on some things, a lot of, we're hearing now a lot more mental health issues, that can probably get nipped in the butt before it gets to the point of being worse, if you just allow yourself. You know, a lot of people say it's so taboo, especially in our community and in our and just in our culture. Why? What, like, why? I mean, it doesn't take anything for you to just talk. It doesn't take anything for someone to see from the outside looking in and see how destructive things could be and point it out to you so that you can clean that up. You know, that's like somebody coming in your house and looking like, your house is dirty. I don't want to sit down. So, you know, I mean, you may not see it right away, but they did, you know. So yes, these things are definitely available. She is amazing, guys. You talking about driven. I don't think this woman sleeps. I think she's a vampire. I don't know what everybody else can say.
So, Lady Myya, I just want to go back to just reinforce what you stated about mental health. Where you said that there are symptoms. You could be already experiencing symptoms from PTSD, which I had symptoms of PTSD. But again, if you get support while you're experiencing the symptoms, it minimizes or it could eliminate the idea of you even getting it at all. And the other stress that I want to say is that mental health bleeds into physical illness. If you don't deal with those mental health issues, you will start developing high blood pressure. You could start developing diabetes. You could have a stroke. So again, taking care, it starts with your mind and then it works throughout. So I am such an advocate for us making sure we become healthy mentally because it bleeds into so many other things, you know, for the rest of our lives. We're nourishing our mind and we'll nourish our body. I just wanted to say that.
No, please keep saying it. Keep saying it because I mean, at the same time, having the conversation is important. You know, it's really, really important. Like to have that engagement. You know, we can tell them and give them. You know, we can give them facts all day. You know, or whatever. We can start. You know, everybody has it at their fingertips, but at the same time, to have the actual emotion and the experience, that is not always written. This is not always seen either. So, you know, this is why I'm like, you know what, to have this kind of conversation is everything that I wanted to have, you know, at some point in time. I just didn't know to whom I was going to be having the conversation with. You know, so now I got my homegirl. We're sitting here.
That's right.
We can have this conversation and have this dialogue, and now, you know, people can see like, okay, well, yeah, they were, you know, they may have been in abusive relationships and different things like that, but, you know, how does that really antiquate to the relationship? Or maybe just, oh, well, mine hasn't gotten that bad. You don't know where it's going to go either. If you can tell the future, can you tell me what the numbers will be next week? Because I need money. But
you know, and based on the statistics, like 1 in every 4 women are in an abusive relationship, whether it be physically abusive, psychologically abusive. But, you know, often people don't see the verbal, mental, emotional abuse as abuse. It's abuse.
Yeah.
So we have to be mindful of that, and that abuse starts to bleed into our soul. It bleeds into your mind, it bleeds into your soul. So, you know, there's the stigma, oh, if he didn't hit me, it's not abuse. No, if she didn't hit me, it's not abuse. It's mental. There's all types of abuse, more than just physical abuse. So I just want to encourage people to learn. And I mean, we have a Teaching Tuesday segment that I do on YouTube where we talk about different topics. And right now I'm just starting with the foundation to really set people up to really be able to understand and absorb domestic violence. So we do 5 to 7 minute segments, and we just educate on topics like PTSD and the impacts of domestic violence. This week I talked about the cycle of abuse, the power wheel of control. And the reason why we started to do that and the reason why we added education into our mission is because when I started to share about me being a domestic violence survivor, people was like, I can't believe that you don't look like somebody who went through domestic violence. You never look
like that, you know.
And I want to first say that it doesn't have a look. You know, it doesn't.
No, it does not.
It doesn't happen to a certain type of socioeconomic class, anyone can be a victim of abuse. And then B, if there was a lack of understanding, and what we want to share with the world is what the victim goes through, because that's where the lack of compassion is, or lack of understanding. People don't know how to support because they don't really understand the experience, or they're not open to understanding the experience. So what we want to bring is, what does that victim go through? This is what they're dealing with, and this is how you can support them. Because it's really important to know that there are ways you can support them and not even know it. It could be the smallest things. But that's why it's so important that we learn and take the time to learn. There's so many resources and tools out there, but we have a resource library in our website. So there's so much you can learn, and we actually link other websites to you, because we're not the know-all be-all, but we'll get you to who is. So let's just make sure we're mindful of just all of these things, because they matter, and people are dealing with this every single day behind doors. And I always say domestic violence is closer to your doorstep than you even realize it. So just be mindful. That's all.
No, I hear you. Look, like she said, we don't all have a look. We don't. I was abused with my daughter's father. I had to deal with that situation, and I said no more. And just having that empowerment and just knowing that, like, okay, you got your own issues. That has nothing to do with me. Right. So I'm out. So much. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is Lady Myya. I'm here with Yolanda Oliver, and she is awesome, and she has given us all the information that we needed. And we appreciate her. She gave us all her information. I'll also have that all in the description. And so you guys have a most wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.